As you can see here, I'm going to be doing a tier list of the key forwards in 2023. And you might be thinking, this is simple. Just look at the goals. No, goals, goal assists, score involvements, all these different things. I'm going to be ranking them also based on how they performed in general, not just the statistics. So I think the best way to probably start this is to put my guaranteed S's in when you go through the list. Coleman medalist has to be in there. In big games, he flops, but he's Coleman medalist, so you got to be putting him in there. Mitch Lewis, he was very injured, but he did have a great season. In 15 games, Mitch Lewis somehow achieved 36 goals, which is a great average. He's got to be in an A. Now, guaranteed S's. Let's stick to that system. I'm drawing away. I'm going to put Danaher in an S. 61 goals for Joe Danaher, and in the finals, he performed amazingly, which is why if he didn't perform well in finals, he wouldn't be an S. But I think because of the grand final and the general finals performances, he has to be up there. I'm looking for my man Suvlaki in a terrible North Melbourne side. I believe he finished third in the Coleman. I believe second in the Coleman was Mr. Adelaide himself. I can't find him right now. You know who I'm about to say. Tex Walker, there he is. He's also an S. I feel like those four for me are guaranteed. There might be more in future. Also in S, despite the fall off, Jeremy Cameron, at one point he was the best player in the competition. He did average the 4th most score involvements, and I think he was 7th in the Coleman. So if you add that all together, I think he deserves an S despite the fall off. Now, I think that might be done with the S's, but we're going to just continue a little bit. Mychek had a great season. However, he's never been an amazing forward to me. All in all, he performed very well in the final series, so maybe B's a little bit harsh, but I'm putting him there. Harry Mackay, I think, has been a fail of a season. Yes, he did score 29 goals, but some of the performances were atrocious. Some of the misses were atrocious. And I think the reason he's in F, look, given that he probably should be C or D, but in F, just the talk around him and just some of those mistakes. If you asked him, he would say it's a fail of a season. Buddy Franklin, I don't want to put him in F, so we're going to put him in D. Injuries, old, barely played, let's be real. He should be in F, but because I love the man, I'm not putting him in F. I move on to the Western Bulldogs. I think Norton had a great season. Averaged the most, apart from Bontempelli, the most score assists or goal involvement for the Dogs. Jamara, you have to consider his youth. He also had a brilliant season. Breakout year, I think you could class it, and he kicked quite a few goals. Unfortunately, I think Rory Lobb had an absolutely awful season. Yes, he averaged more than 1 goal a game. I think he got 24 goals in total. However, I'm just not convinced with him, and that's why I'm putting him in there. We'll move on to Collingwood. Look, Ash Johnson, he just didn't break into the team this year, but when he did play, he actually played alright. Dan McStay, injuries. That terrible injury which stopped him from playing in that grand final. So unfortunate for him. I think because of injuries, it probably was a season that represented a D. However, if you look at the games he played, he was more a B for me. Let's average him out to a C, given that you can't really control injuries. Like if you compare him to Lobb and Mackay, they were awful and they played a lot more, in my personal opinion. And then Mason Cox. Cox is always a hard one to grade. I think all in all, he did play the flag, so he would say it's been a good season for him. But with the whole season, some of the games, I think has probably been a D, despite every now and then turning up with Mason Cox American magic. Adelaide, Darcy Fogarty, he's starting to show a little bit of that potential that he promised. However, his score assists just weren't good. I think he got around 30 goals. Look, I'm putting it as a C. I think it's a pretty basic year for him, given what he should be showing by now. Riley, Philthorpe, whatever the fuck. He's young. He didn't play much. And when he played, he didn't do much. I think it's probably been a poor season by his standards. However, because he's young, do you move him up? We'll keep him in D for now. Now, for Richmond, I believe this is Samson Ryan. He's a ruck, not a forward. In terms of a forward, no. But in a ruck year, he had a good year. He's so young. So it's his first actual year of football, and he played great. Jack also carried that forward line with Tom Lynch's injury concerns throughout the year. Obviously, he's retired now. But in terms of what he had to deal with, being the one key forward at the age of whatever he was, 410, you actually, in isolation, he did perform well. Now, the guy who might be coming to Richmond in Kazitsky, not convinced by him. You would have thought he would do something with the season, but he didn't. I think it's a C. He's young. It's a bit like Philthorpe. He's a bit like Riley over there in Adelaide. Both are relatively similar. Young, potential, but didn't progress much this season. Max King, averaging just under 3 goals a game, but he only played, I believe, 11 games. When he played, he looked phenomenal. Injuries bring him down a bit. Overall, I think it's probably a B this season. If he was fit, fit, he easily has the potential to go into the S category. However, he needs to get his body right. A lot of concerns around him. Now, his St Kilda partner, I'm surprised there's only one here. I think that's Anthony Caminiti. There was a lot of rotation in the St Kilda forward line throughout the year because of injuries, and I think he performed well as well. Young, potential, full stop. Hipwood, because of that grand final, he's nowhere near the top. He performed well. Danaher took the spotlight. He's inconsistent. Overall, I think it's been a C. He can perform well, but you're on that Brisbane side who's finishing second best team all year. You've got to be doing more. You've got to be more consistent, and he just is not that. Until he fixes that consistency issue, he won't be above a C. Oscar Allen, I'm putting Oscar Allen in S. Great goal record, great score assist record, in the worst side I've seen in many, many years. No help up forward. He played brilliantly. However, Darling didn't do so well. I think his year was probably a D. He still got some goals here and there, but he's just dropped off. Maybe that's reflective of West Coast as a season. However, Oscar Allen, I think he finished like maybe 7th or 8th in the Coleman in that West Coast side. That has to be an S easily. Now, let's move on to GWS. Hogan, I think Hogan had an absolutely brilliant year. Sort of came back from the depths of hell. At Melbourne, brilliant. At Fremantle, horrible. Start of GWS, just as bad, and he's just had a really good year. So well done to him. Jake Riccardi, he's broken into that team, but it's always a bit difficult with him. I think all in all, Riccardi had a great season. I think he had a B. Maybe because he's young, you know what, I'm going to move him up to an A. I really like this guy. Watching him, I think he performs brilliantly. Sometimes he doesn't get those goals or those goal assists, but I think he definitely one to watch in the future. And now that GWS have got that act together, they seem like a good team. You don't know what he's up to, alright? So for me, has been a brilliant player. Let's move on to Essendon. Carl Langford had a standout year. He was good. Yes, he said some dumb things throughout the year, but performances, he played great. Not quite an S, but I think performed very well. However, his partner in crime, Sam Wiedemann, I thought he had a terrible year. I did not like his performances. Just inconsistent, not good enough. And unfortunately, at his second club, he hasn't shown much change. Now, the club that he came from, the Melbourne Demons, let's move on to them next. We'll start with Jacob Van Ruin, I believe this guy's name is. Young talent. I thought he had a great year. Really promising player. Seems to be the future of Melbourne. Harrison Petty, I think he only kicked like 12 goals, and he didn't play too much. He's more of a defender for me anyway, but they do throw him forward every now and then. Let's put him as a C. That's probably fair for this year. Now, another Brisbane guy I missed out on, Jack Gunston, who's offered a trade or wants to go back to Hawthorn as of recording, which is quite funny. He had a good year. Yes, he did drop himself from the team throughout the year. However, I thought he did well. I'll give him a B. Didn't score many goals, but I just feel like leadership for that team. I love Gunston as a player. I think he's great. Fremantle next. Jai Miss. Let's give him an A. I thought he was brilliant in his first full season of football, really. I'm not sure who that other Fremantle player is. It could be Sam Sturt or Josh Tracy. Either or, whoever that bloke is, unfortunately didn't play well. I have terrible eyesight, you can see the glasses. Tom Hawkins, he did have a good year. However, not as good as his previous years. Still great with goal assists, still great with goals and chiming in. However, just not as good as previous years, unfortunately for him. Let's move on to Gold Coast. Ben King, I believe that is, yep, Ben King had a great year. In a better team, he would have an even better year. Jack Lukosius, I thought had a standout year. Levi Casbolt, I thought had a pretty poor year, pretty standard. Logan McDonald, he had a decent year. He looks like he's overtaking Franklin soon. Still want more from him though. McLean, pretty basic year, let's be real. And lastly, Aaron Cadman from GWS. Young, he's got heaps of room to improve. However, didn't do all that much this year. Now, this isn't the final list. I'm going to be rearranging things. I want some more plays in F and some less plays in A. So I'm going to be pretty brutal now. I think Jamis had an S season given his youth, and you know, it was his first real full year. So I'm putting him there. Bringing down to F, we're having a look around. I'm being brutal. I think these two belong in F. Despite kicking a few goals this year, performances just weren't up to it. Let's get Kazitsky down. Let's get Casbolt down. Let's get you down. Cadman, you're young, you can stay there. McLean, not convinced by you. And we'll have one less in A. Anyone I can move up or down? Gunston probably comes down to a C. I'm probably too biased on him there. Jack probably, you know, given what Jack had to deal with, he can probably stay there. Samson Ryan, he can stay there. Let's keep talking to the front. Mitch Lewis, yes, he belongs there, yes. They all deserve to be A. Can any of them move onto to S. Look, I'm probably content with that. I'm happy with that list. I'm happy with the B category. With the C category, I'm relatively content with that. You know, Fogarty could move up, Hitwood could move up, Gunston could move up or down, McStay could move up or down with the injuries. And then with the D, look, Franklin could come into F, but I'm happy with that. Overall, that is my list. That's my list of key forwards. I've given you a bit of statistical output there, but also performances, expectation, the whole kind of shebang with everything, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow the TikTok FTFooty. Check that out. I'll see you in another video.